Celebrity doctor Mehmet Oz, who is running as a Republican for U.S. Senate in Pennsylvania, has already claimed to be a victim of cancel culture. In fact, during an appearance on Fox News, Dr. Oz accused the Philadelphia Inquirer of silencing him because the paper announced that it would only refer to him not as Dr. Oz, but as his real name, Mehmet Oz. Take a look.
It doesn't sound like they're trying to help you.
No, they're not. They're putting their thumb on the scale. And here's the thing. There's such an enthusiastic response to the campaign. I'm here in Pittsburgh talking to people, and it makes me optimistic because they've got great ideas. Meanwhile, the Inquirer hates that I'm empowering you, hates that I'm taking on some of the established folks, hates that the entrepreneurial solutions that I'm offering might make sense, and they don't like that I say what I see. So they want to silence me. And I tell you, it is shocking that it would make them that uncomfortable this early in my campaign, but I think it's reflective of the movement we represent.
Well, they're trying to cancel you. I saw your Twitter. That's what you said.
And the Twitter response that I posted back got a huge response because people see it. I mean, you can't look away. Why would the Inquirer get involved in this process? Why would they not want to call me Dr. Oz? Everyone knows I'm Dr. Oz, but they don't think it's the right thing to do. They think it gives me an unfair advantage.
But I love how Ducey gives away the game at the beginning. It's like, they're not trying to help you. The media is not supposed to help any politician, be it Democrats or Republicans. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but generally in journalism, you're not supposed to. If you're an actual journalist, then you're not supposed to help a particular candidate. You're supposed to be objective. You're supposed to give the facts about both candidates. And I don't know of a bigger fact in this case than the fact that his name is Mehmet Oz. And that, yes, he is a celebrity TV doctor, which is how they're referring to him as. They're not going to do marketing for Dr. Oz. That's not the whole point of the media. You're not supposed to do that. Good Lord. All right, so, but I love the response too. Oh my God, they're silencing me. I'm being canceled. I've been canceled. Bro, you're literally talking to millions of people right now on the most watched network in the country. You're not being silenced at all. You have a megaphone. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? And again, why is it terrible to use your first name? That's who you are. You're Mehmet Oz. And yes, you're a cardiothoracic surgeon. Wow, that's not difficult. Again, here's the thing though. I think this is my conspiracy. Okay. Now, look, he's running as a Republican, and he has an ethnic name. Mehmet Oz is a Turkish American. I had no problem with that. I don't think it should matter. Now, if you look at Dr. Oz, he is very white passing. All right, so he doesn't look Muslim, basically is what I'm trying to say. But here's the thing, right? To a certain segment of people, of Republican voters, it might actually matter that his name might be too ethnic for him. For them, I should say. Maybe that's what Mehmet Oz is saying. Maybe that's like the meaning behind this. Oh, by the way, also to try to get in on the, I can't believe they're cancel culturing me, because that is a very, very popular sentiment and something that is going to immediately get you a lot of support. So you're going to get a lot of support from people because, the left is trying to cancel you. Oh my God, we must support you now. Now look, I don't think he needs help. He's actually doing incredibly well in polling, which is very interesting. He's some of the most recent polls have him neck and neck. And I think that's partly because of celebrity. Now, I think he knows that celebrity wins. That's how Ronald Reagan won, partly why Trump won. Again, because it's instant name recognition. So, of course, he wants to go and be connected to the brand that he had built, Dr. Oz. You must only address me as Dr. Oz and not as Mehmet Oz. I think it's worked. And so here's the thing, too. Not only has he leveraged his celebrity for political gain, which I guess, happens, fine. But he's also pushed for things that are not fine, like hydroxychloroquine for COVID. when it hasn't been proven to be effective with COVID. It's not approved for COVID. In fact, he had also suggested in April of last year, before widespread vaccination was available, that, you know what, the opening the schools, even if some kids die, it's fine. Take a look.
Well, first, we need our mojo back. Let's start with things that are really critical to the nation where we think we might be able to open without getting into a lot of trouble. I tell you, schools are a very appetizing opportunity. I just saw a nice piece in The Lancet arguing that the opening of schools may only cost us 2 to 3% in terms of total mortality. And, you know, that's any life is a life lost. But to get every child back into a school where they're safely being educated, being fed, and making the most out of their lives with a theoretical risk in the backside, it might be a trade-off some folks would consider.
It might be a trade-off. I mean, only 2 to 3%. Totally fine. Send the kids back to school in the middle of a pandemic. Now, look, afterwards, the backlash was swift, okay? And it's probably why he's like, oh, I can't believe you're silencing me now, cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. You tried to cancel me. So he had to go out and apologize. Still kind of gross. But here's the thing. You know why generally Republicans tend to wanted to open the schools, right? So you can send the parents back to work. You send the kids back to school. Well, then the parents don't have to sit home and watch their kids. They can go back to work. Corporations can start making money again from having people in the office and having control again in the workplace because they really love that. And so, you know, hey, let's send the kids back to school so we can send the kids back to work. Let's just get back to work. You get back to the mines, folks. That's it. And again, to be fair, for some of the parents, they didn't want to sit home with their kids either. I get it. I do understand. But it's this, and that's bad enough as it is. But then you have the COVID disinformation that was pushed by him and Dr. Drew. I remember Dr. Drew early on. That's Dr. Drew Pinsky. COVID, he's like, oh, it's not a big deal. COVID's fine. Beginning of the pandemic. And he later on was like, turns out not fine. Nearly 800,000 Americans have died from COVID now. So not good. Not good. But look, here's the thing. He's pushed dubious supplements for money, disinformation, all of that stuff. Hydroxychloroquine, as I mentioned. And so, look, you know, all of that. I mean, I think it's a natural thing that he sets himself up for a run as a Republican because all the fake tears and stuff like that and all the supplements and they're really only worrying about taxes, paying taxes, getting tax cuts for himself and all of that. You're going to think, oh, well, the Republican base, well, I mean, I love that. I'm sure the Republican base would love that too, especially since I'm a doctor, a cardiothoracic surgeon who doesn't know anything about, you know, immunology or anything related to COVID. But nonetheless, you know, I'm going to sit here and tell you how and go on Fox News and tell you how hydroxychloroquine is amazing and a wonderful thing. But the only thing I think that he doesn't feel confident about is his first name. Just ask Piyush Jindal about that. Or just ask Nimrata Randhawa Haley about that, about their names. And look, here's the thing. Americanizing names is not a new thing. Unfortunately, it's not a new phenomenon. But again, as a Republican candidate, I think a lot of Republicans think, yes, ditch your ethnic name and become Bobby. Become, whatever Americanized name, ditch the foreignness. You're now going to be assimilated as one of us. We must have complete and utter assimilation. You must throw everything away that makes you foreign. I think maybe Dr. Oz hasn't gone so far as to change his name. Obviously not. But just having them and throwing a fit that the Philadelphia Inquirer decided to use his full name instead of just referring to his brand as Dr. Oz. Might be part of that. Maybe it's a stretch, to be fair. Maybe. But I think that has something to do with it. Again, that's just me. But here's the other thing, though. Even if you do that, as somebody who's not white Christian, as a Republican, I don't think they're ever going to really accept you. There's definitely a part of the Republican base that will definitely not accept you. Now, some of those people will allow you to be in the club if you help them, and you'll obviously even be rewarded handsomely for being part of that. But you'll never be one of them. Now, Dr. Oz, I see him as being like, well, yes, I made a career out of grifting people. Why not? If I can keep doing it as an elected official, absolutely. As long as I can make a buck. Now, one more thing. For its part, the Inquirer defends itself by saying, look, we're just going to refer to all candidates that way, whether celebrity or not. Doesn't matter. We're just going to use your first name and your last name, and we're not going to try to help your brand. We're not in for marketing. And that's it. Good. Don't appease the cancel culture grifters. Because at the end of the day, this is really what it is. Just using the specter of cancel culture to try to elevate yourself in Republican politics.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.